Right, we're gonna find another thing like we did with old boy, you know, riding in on the bear. We're gonna find another thing.
I mean, you know,
to put on there. Weston will figure it out. We'll get something cool.
I mean, if they want somebody to pull the trigger, I'll be glad to do it.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You know, I'll sleep like a baby that night. You know,
look at what. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. This is the baddest podcast in the land, and I stand on that 10 toes down. This is Steak and Sauce Podcast, everybody. I am one of the hosts on here. You know my name, Derek Nowlin, a.k.a. King Koopa, a.k.a. Mr. Meat to Meat. And the song that's out right now, everybody's singing it. I've been saying that for the past 9 months. I want royalties, okay? I've coined that phrase. I've been saying it forever. There's a song out. Now all y'all want to dance. Meat to meat. And I've been saying it forever, okay? The difference is y'all dance about it. We do it, okay? So to my right, you already know who this is, the landowner. He likes to call us boy. We let him do it on the show only for entertainment purposes. Go ahead and give us a boy.
Boy.
There we go. We got Preston. Also, across from me, this man needs no introduction. You guys requested him. You loved him when he was on here before. This is your third time.
Yeah, this is my third time. Yeah.
On the baddest podcast in the land. Give it up for Mr. Garry Doss, a.k.a. Dad.
Thank you, son.
Thank you, Dad. We also got the mastermind in the building, the engineer, the Wizard of Oz. You only know he's there when you pull back the cape. Let's give it up for Weston as well.
Sir.
All right. He's in the building. We're going to see how many times we can get him to laugh and roll his eyes today. That lets us know we're doing a good job, all right? And also, right now, put that burger down, all right? Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Click that notification button so that you can be included on all of the great episodes that we got coming for you guys. We've got some extremely great content, and you don't want to miss out on it, all right? Also, you guys know that I do not really represent the ranch community. You guys know how I feel about ranch. However, I will say, Dad, one of our favorite restaurants, Outback, right?
Oh, yeah.
Their ranch is absolutely amazing.
It is.
It's great. So shout out to them. Y'all know I love blue cheese, but Outback's ranch, I'd literally brush my teeth with it. Like, I'm not lying. Like, it's almost that good. Also, usually on this show, right before I get into asking you guys how your week was, we usually run some videos. Today, we're going to do things a little bit different, all right? I'd like to shout out a few people. I'm just going to run down the list right quick. From Killeen, Texas, we got Mr. Billy Clark, one of the guys I served with in the Army. Shout out to you. Shout out to your family. Thanks for supporting us and watching this podcast. Also, soon to be, I won't say his rank because I don't know if he's got it yet, but Sergeant First Class Rivera, Victor Rivera, thank you, brother. We love you. Continue to do great things serving your country. Also, we got Kevin Morgan. Mr. Kevin Morgan, thank you for supporting our show. Thank you and your nephew for supporting us and everything that you do. We also want to shout out some of our other podcasts in the area that we want you guys to support. We have 140 Characters with Jordan B. Go to YouTube, subscribe to that one. We have The Weird Side with Taylor and Hannah. Check that one out for all of your horror knowledge and the backstories and conspiracy theories and everything that they're doing. And last but not least, check out my buddy Rob at the Commotion Podcast. Please go check those out in this area. Support those guys. They have some great stuff coming up. We're going to bring this back. I got away from it a little bit, but we have the word of the week. And this word of the week is adroit. Has anybody heard that word before? Nope. Dad?
Nope. That's a new one.
Adroit. Adroit means clever or skillful in using the hands and mind. Now, when I thought of this, that embodies who I am, right? Clever in the mind and skillful with my hands. And I'm sure that a lot of people can say that. Probably most of the time in the bedroom. Okay? Not to toot my own horn, but, you know, I can work well with my hands, right? Even out here in the parking lot, my hands work good. And y'all can ask somebody about that. What do you feel?
About you?
About my hands working
About your hands?
Yeah.
Depends on the day.
Oh.
It depends on the day. I've seen when you got that full sweatsuit on, your Walmart Nike Tech on.
Yeah, my Walmart Nike Tech.
And you get out there on the brick wall.
Yes.
He's fastest guy there is.
Fastest guy around.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. I said a man's man.
A man's man.
Yeah. A man's man.
Paul Bunyan met me at a bar one time, and he bought me a drink.
What'd he say?
Right. There's 10 bad motherfuckers in this area, and 9 of them call me sir. Okay? Then he bought me a drink. So, I mean, if that tells you anything out there, Steak and Sauce family type of man that I am, ask Paul Bunyan. All right? If you don't know who that is, go back to 5th grade. All right? I'm sure you learned about him at some point around that time. So, adroit. That's the word of the week. We're going to continue to do this to increase our vocabulary. We want people to have new words in their vocabulary. And there's just so many words out there that we don't know the meaning to or the context to use them in. But guess what? This is Steak and Sauce Podcast. So not only are you going to learn how to treat your woman in the bedroom, you're also going to learn some new vocabulary to make you smarter, right? So you'll walk away one of two ways, sexier or smarter.
Maybe both.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
Or both.
Yeah,
and how can you lose?
It's a win-win situation.
It's a win-win situation to me. All right, it's win-win.
Lock the door so the women won't knock it down.
Knock it down. They're already knocking it down.
Out there knocking.
I can't even grocery shop anymore.
No.
You know?
No.
Is it the gut? What is it?
If you rub it.
Yes.
What do you get? You get 3 wishes?
You get 3 wishes, and I bring you good fortune.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Buddha.
Yeah.
What's the slogan?
Scat Daddy.
And he funny cuz.
He fat.
He fat. He funny because he fat. That's the slogan. Like, we're just going to run with that, okay? Now, we didn't want to take up too much time, Dad. We have got some excellent topics to get into with you.
Pause.
Yeah. Ooh, pause on that one. We might have to do something on that one real quick.
Yeah, good.
But when we talk about the atomic bomb, right? And today we brought up some subjects because you have pretty extensive knowledge that most people may not have about these subjects. So this
is equals MC squared.
E equals MC squared. We'll go back to that, right?
Yeah.
Now, the reason why this stuff gets me excited is because anybody that knows me knows I'm a big nerd at heart, right? I'm always wanting to read something, figure out something. My imagination's very lucid. So it just runs, and I have so many questions, right?
And so much, there's so much out there.
So much out there.
There's so much out there.
So much out there. So recently you were telling me that they got a new telescope or something, and they were able to figure out that our universe is way bigger than what they thought previously.
That's because of the James Webb. But yeah, it's some weird things are going on.
Right.
Yeah, it's seeing further than Hubble could see by a huge factor, and I don't know. Yeah,
it kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what's going on. I don't want to wait until I'm going to check my paper, get the paper from the mailbox, and out of the clouds is this 1.5 mile wide ship.
Yeah.
Okay, it's too late at that point, ladies and gentlemen. All right, kiss your side chick goodbye. She's gone. She lives on a ground floor apartment. She's gone, okay? Her Hulu account is still in arrears. Help her out before the aliens come.
That money.
Yeah, let's go. I don't know. We'll check that. But, so, the atomic bomb, Dad.
Right.
When that was being constructed, when all the plans came for that, right? Can you kind of dive into that a little bit? Why did the U.S., want to develop that? Some of the science behind it with the centrifuges, and the actual people that were making it had no idea what they were making.
Oh, yes, that's true for a lot of the employees. I mean, I think in Tennessee, the plant where they were building, it was like the second largest city in Tennessee at one time. In the middle of the mountains.
Really?
Right. Exactly.
In Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah, Oak Ridge was. Yeah.
So these people were working there, and they were constructing all these things, and they had no idea what they were doing.
Had no idea. Right. They were enriching uranium. Was what they were doing.
Enriching uranium. Okay. And what is that process? If you can go into that for us.
It's a complicated process, but they're trying to increase the neutrons in the atom of uranium.
Okay.
Natural occurring uranium has so many neutrons.
Yeah.
And every 1 millionth whatever atom will have an extra neutron. And what they do is centrifuge these things out in rows of centrifuges.
Okay.
To get the heavier neutron atom.
That 1 in a million that they need to grab.
1 in a million, right. Okay, then they go to the next one. They get 2 in a million. They go to the next centrifuge, and they might get 3 in a million. You know?
Can you explain what the centrifuges do?
That's just centrifugal force.
Right. At a high volume.
At a very high rate of speed, yeah. And it'll gradually move these heavier elements to the heavier atoms to the outside.
That's closely sounds
just
like
wow.
It's wild. It closely sounds like what I do at nighttime. I mean, you got a high rate of speed, right? And every millionth, I'm trying to move this neutron right to the outside.
It's heavier force.
Heavier force. It collects.
This demon.
So this process that they're doing. Do you think that they were read on to some type of disclosure agreement?
I don't know, Derek. I mean, I think it was just, it was believed by the scientists. Of course, most of these scientists were Germans from Germany, and they thought that Hitler was also in the process of working on an atomic bomb
because they had the smartest.
Because were most educated and smartest physicists at that time, were Europeans.
Right.
I mean, we had some in this country, but nowhere near the conflagration, like they did over there. So
right. So most of those guys from over there were in charge of.
Yeah, they were just theoretically smart.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They could figure the math out.
Right. Now, can you get into us most of the facts that you know surrounding the atomic bomb? I mean, you talked about the equation that was used to figure it out. The pilots were instructed to, cover an eye when it was detonated because it was designed to detonate above ground, right?
Right. To do the most damage. You wanted it 1,000, 1,500 feet above ground so that you don't just blow a bunch of dirt up,
Right, yeah. So they had all this stuff figured out.
Right.
And the reason that they were able to get this information is because of Albert Einstein's equation.
It's more than just Einstein. The E equals MC squared. Actually, he put it together, but it goes back to some of the other earlier scientists, too, that were working on those theories.
Right. And
the energy and matter were interchangeable. They're different manifestations of the same thing.
Gotcha. Now, Weston brought up a good point when I was talking to him earlier. Were they afraid at one point that this would be like the be-all, end-all bomb because they thought it would continue to?
Right. There was some people who believed, the atmosphere would be ignited, and yeah, exactly, and would fission off all the atoms and annihilate everything.
So they dropped it knowing that was a possibility.
Well, no, they had already tested it. They had already tested that out in New Mexico.
Yeah, with the test
bomb. Yeah,
in
New Mexico.
But they didn't know at that
point.
In
the desert, in White Sands.
They set off an atomic bomb.
They set off a lot of atomic bombs in the West there for a period of time. I've been to some of the sites in Nevada and stuff. Yeah.
That's
not knowing what that bomb's going to do.
I mean,
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, no, that's kind of wild. That you know what I'm saying? What do they call that in the military, Dad? We called it
ground zero.
Yeah, collateral damage, right?
Collateral damage.
Risk versus gain.
Right.
The risk of setting this off to gain the knowledge of its capabilities. Right. So they went out to the White Sands.
Well, I mean, it was what not believed that it would annihilate everything, but there was
a chance.
Some rogue physicist said, "Yeah, this can start the end of the end." But
oh man, could you imagine?
I mean, it blows my mind when me and you talk about this and the actual physics and science that went into this, right? To create this, right?
Right. It goes back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. All these theories, Niels Bohr and these guys were thinking up some fabulous mathematics. I tell you,
yeah, it's crazy. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to figure out why Chick-fil-A has $15 chicken sandwiches, and they're coming up with all these ways, create this stuff.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's absurd, is what it is. It's Steak and Sauce family. Absurd. Can you talk to us what you told me about the pilots?
The pilot's instructions. I'm not sure about Tibbetts and on the Enola Gay, but I know they were told to, as soon as they dropped the bomb, to bank as hard as they could in full throttle to get away from this blast.
Because that blast was creating
one hell of a shockwave.
Shockwave right. Not only, but that light that it was emitting, the energy.
Right.
It could potentially blind them.
Right. Now, if you look, because you're talking about 100 million degrees temperature. I mean, just light is that intense.
I can't even fathom 100. I'm sorry. I can't even fathom 100 million degrees.
No.
Like you can't.
You never could.
It
would just be an instant. No. Yeah.
Right. You can't sit there and fathom that. That, you know what I'm saying? Like that amount of energy.
It's fun. We're little humans.
Right.
That descended up from single cells on a planet. We got 5 senses, and that's all we know.
Right. Yeah. Sense of smell.
Yeah. We're awful to say, but we're pretty damn ignorant.
For lack of better terms, right?
For lack of better terms, there's a hell of a lot more we don't know than what we do know.
That's for sure.
It makes me feel when you say that, it makes me feel that the people that are out here actually like trying to figure out how to save the world and stuff. Yeah. And during commercial breaks at my house, I'm fighting invisible people to the refrigerator in the kitchen, and I'm screaming at people that aren't even there and working on my fighting skills. So if somebody saw me doing that versus the great minds that are out here in the world, they would think we haven't gone that far.
No, we've not gone very far.
You really think about it, So, but, I don't mind that. I'm sharpening my skills. I don't know what you're doing at home. I'm working on my stuff. But now,
that's why just to watch the news and watch things, I get tickled and laugh a lot,
right?
Because it's some of the stuff a lot of it is so stupid.
It's to create fear.
Asinine. Yeah,
it's asinine.
Oh yeah, it's all a game.
That's why I hate it.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all a game. It's not reality.
What do we call it? The illusion of choice.
Right.
That's
exactly.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's the illusion of choice.
Right.
That's what I feel. And you had mentioned some of the testing. Do you believe that they were testing some of these bombs out in the ocean because, for one, they were worried about, possible civilian life, or two, they were trying to, get rid of Godzilla?
Well, if Godzilla was there, he left with a hot ass, is all I can say. He was there on Bikini Atoll.
He left with a hot ass.
Yeah,
they've been burning him up for a while. How many ever there are? There's like
I don't know if he headed back to Tokyo or where he went, but he said, these damn people are nuts.
I'm getting the hell out of here. So you think they did that because, to mitigate?
Well, I mean, when they got into doing those thermonuclear hydrogen explosions, it was so gigantic that it had to be in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Right. Like we went out to Bikini and just, evacuated all those people, moved them like 1,000 miles.
And blew
that damn hole, hole in the hole in the damn ground,
who's authorizing this stuff? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. It's incredible.
It is. Like we live in a bubble, right? And we are kind of focused on our day to day, and so many things have happened or are happening.
And will
happen that we don't even really fathom or even really know about.
Right, sure. Sure.
People say, "Oh, it's so terrible what they do to mice and monkeys in labs." What do you think we are? What do you think that they're testing?
People do to people.
People do to people.
Yeah.
Terrible things.
The Russians do to the Ukrainians, right?
Right,
exactly.
We just saw a video.
Yeah.
We just saw a video, and God rest their souls.
Terrible.
We're both veterans, so we understand this. There were 10 or more Ukrainian soldiers.
There's probably 15
at an outpost, right? And they were kind of guard down, just standing there at an outpost. A Russian tank came in. I think it was unmarked. They had no idea that it was a Russian tank because if they had known, they'd have scrambled.
Well, see, they have the same kind of tanks. Those what are they, T-72s or whatever? Yeah. The Russians have them. And that's why Russian tank.
Yeah, right.
So
that's why they thought it was theirs.
They thought it was theirs.
Yeah.
They were standing there. And this is a video that is circulating the internet, so I can't get in trouble for it. But the tank came about another 20 or 30 yards onto their position and fired the main turret weapon. Now, right there on them, Dad. Point blank, disintegrated. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
now, for people that know military stuff, the Abrams tank, that round travels.
It's 30 miles or something.
Up to 30, but it travels a mile every couple seconds or something like that. Yeah, so you can imagine the velocity.
4,000, 3,000 feet per second.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying this was the equivalent of an Abrams, but I've never seen in all the combat that I've been in, probably because of our Geneva Convention,
right,
that governs a lot of stuff the way we can interact with the enemy.
And we have done ugly things too.
We have.
We try to keep it under control.
Right. They fired the main turret weapon, and I've never seen something like that, And so, this stuff is really happening, while we're here and we're eating Chipotle and we're, riding around and, so there's.
And like I was telling you, it's crazy that this is like one of the first wars ever that we've had. Everybody's got a smartphone. So the videos you see from it are insane.
It's changed.
Because even in 09, 2010, all that, the footage from that war that you see is still very blocky, terrible. It's just not good quality.
Right.
But this stuff is recorded like
these
really good. So these soldiers are recording this stuff.
Soldiers have smartphones.
Yeah. Just like the guy on the street on the bicycle laying on the street.
Yeah.
Right? All that was cell phone. But somebody walked by, picked it.
Yeah.
That's
crazy. Insane.
I mean,
first time you're like civilians are really getting to see what's going on behind the scenes. The stuff you don't get to see ever.
Right.
It's insane.
I mean, that bastard, pardon my expression, in Moscow.
Right.
He needs to have his head taken off.
Right. Right. We're gonna find another thing like we did with old boy, riding in on the bear. We're gonna find another thing.
I mean,
to put on there. Weston will figure it out. We'll get something cool.
I mean, if they want somebody to pull the trigger, I'll be glad to do it. I'll sleep like a baby that night.
Look at what. Yeah, Dad, we know you are by far more than qualified, to be a hitman.
I mean, evil people need to be gone.
Right.
There's no damn. The older I've gotten, the wiser I've gotten.
Right.
And there's no place for them.
There's no place for them.
Piss on them. I mean,
yeah. Listen, I go back to our saying, and we'll say this to the end of time. Good girls go to heaven. Bad girls go everywhere.
Yeah.
Just remember that, fellas. Okay? Look at Preston. That's funny. Now, we also talked about that kind of loops into this. And was there any other really interesting facts you had around the atomic bomb that we might not have covered?
I don't know. I can think of. There was so many,
right?
many interesting. You know, the Russians. You was talking about Bikini Atoll. That was 20 megatons. That's 20 million tons of TNT that we blew up Bikini with. The damn Russians put off a 50 megaton in northern Siberia.
Whoa!
At the Arctic Circle, 50 megatons. I mean, that would be like. You put that off here in Blacksburg, I mean, you'd be frying Bluefield, Roanoke, you know. I mean, that's just.
I mean, that's what it would
do.
50 megatons to reach Bluefield.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, easily.
Okay.
Oh, probably beyond probably that. Beckley.
Right.
Probably turn that coal into diamonds up there.
Now, the 50-ton in Siberia, what was that for? Testing?
That was their testing. That was one of their first H-bombs they tested. Hydrogen, thermonuclear, fusion bomb.
Can you explain that?
That's turning hydrogen. That's getting enough heat and enough pressure to turn hydrogen into helium.
Whoa. I feel like I've done that before too.
You too.
I guarantee you I've had enough heat and pressure to turn hydrogen into helium because they talk funny after it. You know, is that the same?
No, that's helium.
Oh, okay. So, no, keep going. So
yeah, and I mean, that's the same thing that happens on the sun in the stars. You know, that's the same thing that makes the stars glow.
Now, what is the equivalent of what happens for the sun's energy? You were telling me that. How much is that every time? It's the equivalent of something for the sun to stay reactive the way it does. How many atom bombs going on?
I don't know, but we were talking about the light that's actually emitted in the thermonuclear internal part of the sun.
Right.
Can take upwards of 1 million years to actually exit the sun, and for 1,008 minutes to
get it here.
To get here for you to see it, because it just bounces around. It has collisions with particles, and it actually starts out as a high energy gamma ray, but by the time it bounces around, it gets to the surface, it's actually comes out as light, common light. Yeah.
Bro, that is the more I've gotten older, right. As I've gotten older, the more I've learned things about the sun. Bro, think if you wrote that in a book and gave it to somebody, that's how we see outside every day, is this random thing that's
life wouldn't be here without the energy from the sun. That's where the ultimate energy comes from.
Why? What? How is that?
I don't know. And also, we're staying in perfect orbit.
Yeah.
Right? It's a bunch of ball sacks in this universe orbiting around each other. And thank the Lord we don't bang or clip, one of these ball sacks get too close to the other one. I mean, can you imagine if the sun...
And that will happen in the future.
Get a little bit closer.
It has happened in the past, and it will happen in the future.
I can't imagine the sun getting any closer than it is right now. Some days you walk outside, it'll be 87, and 87 degrees ain't shit.
No.
And people are still like, God dang, it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't imagine that sun...
Not even Phoenix.
I can't imagine it getting any... you wouldn't be... I don't care if you went under the ground. I don't care where you went to.
Well, that's the whole thing, is like the Earth's temperature anyways, just 3 or 4 degrees will change everything. Either way, everything. Water, exactly. Ecosystems, everything.
It's all interconnected. It has changed. It will change. Of course, we're changing it real well now.
Right.
Yeah.
And if everything falls to shit, Preston them got a well on their back 40. So we have fresh water that we'll be able to get to. It's tapped into somewhere.
But if the power goes out.
Let me tell you something right now.
Where's the CFAP?
Let me tell you something right now. I was going to run this last night.
Well, you're going to run it before this comes out.
Yeah, I'll run it before this comes out. Everybody's worried about beans, bullets, and water, right?
All right.
Now, Dad, you'll be able to understand me on this one, right? If we have some type of EMP, right?
Electromagnetic pulse. Yeah.
Plus these grids, everything goes out. The last thing we need to be worried about is how many bullets we got, because where in the hell are we going to plug in our CPAPs? Everybody with sleep apnea, you thought about that?
Your laser scope's not going to work. None of that's going to work. Yeah, all that stuff's going to be fried.
Yeah. And the CPAP ain't going to plug in. So guess what? It ain't going to be the fallout that's going to get us. It ain't going to be the damn zombies. It's going to be the fact that we can't plug up our CPAP machines, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be in the woods.
We're going to die of a heart attack.
You're going to be in the woods, laying on your back, loud. 2 miles away, the zombies hear you because you can't plug up your fighter mask, and they're coming. I'm telling you, there's bigger things to worry about than how many guns you got. You better have some type of system that will back up your CPAP machine. Okay? Can we get that clear?
The thing about guns is people forget you can only shoot one at a time.
Yeah. I've shot 2. That's a lot.
In the wild west.
Yeah. I had one down one alleyway and the other, but I was just emptying them both. I didn't really care. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the scene from Tremors.
Remember we telling you people are silly.
People are silly, yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the scene from Tremors, Part 1, that movie, if y'all have seen it. Yeah. Reba McEntire and her husband are in the basement of their house, and this tremor busts through their foundation.
I'd get in the basement with Reba McEntire.
You ain't lying.
At one time.
You ain't lying. And screamed to the top of my lungs. Right? They had 100 guns on the wall. This tremor, this giant killer earthworm, has busted through their basement, and they're down there letting it have it. I mean, small arms from pistols to Uzis to battle rifles. Finally, the husband goes and breaks the glass on this elephant gun, right? Double barrel elephant gun. Now, mind you, if he would have really let this go in real life, they'd have both been deaf.
Yeah.
In a basement?
In a basement.
That's with all movies.
That's all movies.
That's with all
You
anything.
shot a gun inside a house or inside a car before. It's loud.
Bad. If you've never fired a firearm with no hearing protection, because half the time you ain't got time to put it in, right? Yeah. If you've never fired a firearm inside of a building, inside of a car, or from a car, it is a totally different experience.
I mean, when I was a teenager, I shut the windows. The windshield of a 66 Ford with a tip 22 rifle sitting in the passenger seat. Believe me. I mean, it was loud. Yeah, yes, 22.
Loud. So, it always makes you think of that movie because they had an unlimited amount of firearms on the wall, but they could only fire one at a time. And they kept grabbing them because this worm was still kicking.
Super worm.
They didn't have enough firepower until he broke that glass. Yeah. And he just so happened to have an elephant gun, laid him down, They
needed a big fish.
They did. They did, definitely. If they would have threw that worm some Taco Bell, it'd have died immediately. Like, they wouldn't even need it all the time. They would have threw a bag of Taco Bell, that worm would have been done. So we also talked about quantum theories, right?
It really gets strange when you start,
right.
You got to forget that you're a human being at all, and you start thinking that kind of stuff.
Right.
It gets, it gets unbelievable.
So when we think about infinite possibilities, right?
Right.
Probability. If I have, how many different combinations can I make out of a set?
Right. And we can't mathematically prove improve infinity.
Right.
Or a singularity.
Right?
Right. We can't, it's beyond our human ability right now.
Right. So when we're thinking about this, Dad, we think about infinite possibilities, right? In our universe, right? Now, we talked about there could very well be another, we could be a projection right now of another Preston Eller on a whole nother planet in a whole nother galaxy within a whole nother
solar, within a whole nother universe.
Right. And he's over there humping trees, and that's as smart as he is. Right. But we have a projection here that we're seeing right now, and we don't even know if this is real.
No.
Now I know I'm getting kind of far-fetched. They're going to be like, what's they're talking about?
They're on TikTok.
People say you're crazy. Just ignore it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, look around you. I mean, I come by the Volvo the other day. Now, I'm going to tell you, I come by Volvo the other day.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that was coming. It was during shift change, and there was a guy coming out in a brand new Chevy, one of these super pickup trucks. 85, 90 grand, whatever they are, fully
loaded.
The whole works.
Yeah.
With a big Q painted in his back window. And I just got to thinking. I said, "What the hell is this?" This guy's making $30-some an hour to put a bolt on. and driving a $90,000 truck, and he's got a QAnon theory in the back of his window. I thought, what the hell's going on here?
Are we missing something?
I mean, what possessed people to think that way?
Right. Now, can you get into that theory for us just a little bit?
I mean, come on, people, get real.
Get real.
Get real. What are you going to overthrow? You got it as damn good as you're ever going to get it. You are above your raisin, so to speak.
Right, yes. You are, look, you're pushing the threshold, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, have you seen that a lot in this area? Or is
That's the first time I've seen that,
Right. Now, where does that theory come from? Do you know?
Beats the hell out of me. I mean, it's just more of this wild conspiracy theories that the government's out to get us.
Right. And he's advertising on this $90,000
I don't know. Explain
if you're
it to
watching
me.
this, come on the show. Let's talk about
if somebody could explain that kind of mental thought to me,
right,
I'd be willing to sit down for hours to listen to it. But I have a feeling that it would fizzle out in about 30 seconds.
Right, because once you start processing it, you're going to be like, no, we're not doing this.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. We might as well put aluminum foil on our heads and run around Kroger.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get the same treatment,
I mean, how can genes get messed up and create something like that?
Right. It happens every day. It happens every day. And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you how I know. If y'all ain't been to the Dublin Walmart,
that's where you find them.
That's where you'll find them. There's a few chromosomes that have been cross-slashed, something added, subtracted, something.
I know that in racehorses and stuff, they say like every fifth generation, they try to breed some within, but
right.
I don't know.
Right, you got to wait
5 generations. Not every generation.
Well, they say if anybody's going to kiss my sister, it's going to be me. Right? That's what they say. Not me, but other people.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, let's clarify that.
What do you mean by that?
I didn't mean anything by that.
I've seen your sister. She'll whip your ass.
She will beat my ass. Morgan, I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you believe, what is the possibility of there being another Gary, Derek, Preston, Weston out there?
Well, as I told you, it depends on how you look at cosmic theory. If it's a flat universe, which goes on forever.
Right.
Forever. Now, what I told you, we don't have a definition for that term, but like I told you, there's a black Gary, there's a white Derek. There's any combination that could be thought of is out there.
Yeah, infinite possibilities.
Right. Yeah, infinite possibilities.
Right. So in another, galaxy, I am a white landowner.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have a nice pickup truck and a blonde wife,
living like what you want to live like right now. What have we been talking about?
Exactly what I want right now.
We did tell you this show was rated R.
We did. Yeah, tell them that. Yeah, we did say, the small disclaimer for the show, but I think that that's what they love. So essentially, you're saying that I want to have some land with a pond.
Yeah.
A nice blonde wife.
About 3 more inches.
Right. At least.
At minimum.
And which the blonde wife is acceptable today. It probably wasn't 50 years ago, but it is acceptable today, right?
Yeah.
And I can look at Weston.
He means real blonde, not chemical blonde.
Not chemical blonde. I mean, a real blonde, you know. So if you're out there, you know, let me know. You know, I don't have any reserves, you know, when it comes to that.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. So because these possibilities are infinite, do you think that that's why they come up with these theories of people returning back in different bodies? You ever heard the term
reincarnation?
You ever heard the term like, oh, they've been here before, that kid's been here before, or people that have came back and they said, you know what, I vividly remember living in Morocco and you know.
I don't know about that.
That's your brain. You got a chemical brain, you know, and that's just chemistry getting, you know. Yeah, that's just that deja vu has been proven. It's just
now
you think you've been there because your brain is making you think you've been there.
Well, see, that's crazy because I just had deja vu the other day. And
we all have it.
It was so real.
It seems crazy.
It seems crazy. Yeah. I literally was sitting at the drive-thru and I bit into my cheeseburger and I was like, oh my God, I've had one of these before.
The mini.
Probably mini. Yeah. So, I mean, is that kind of like the same thing?
Right.
Maybe you're just hungry.
Yeah.
Same car, same burger, same hat.
Same weather.
Perfect. 60-some degrees. The cheese was perfect. I bit into it, and it just like everything scrambled.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Maybe because it happened the day prior. I don't know.
Probably. You know, yeah, I'd say most likely.
Right. But I don't know if that's the same thing, you know?
But I mean, I mean, you think you got like yourself together, right? Yeah. You know, you got your house, you got your bills covered, you get your money coming in, but you think you know yourself, you know your own body, but bro, you don't even know half the stuff going on up here.
No. Well, we can't even
control it.
No,
Well, I have a very hard time walking into Walmart and seeing a woman with a nice dumper on her and not making some type of sound to myself.
A grunt.
You know? Not noticeable to her, but when I walk by and I'm like, you know, or something, you know,
that's just in the back. It just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, where does that come from?
You know, it's there.
I
mean, that's, you know, they can do all the social changes they want to make.
Right.
But, you know,
I think that
we're not that far.
Yeah, I think that feeds back. We're dumb because
we're
so smart. We learn all this atomic bomb stuff, all this, but then again, we still get this.
Few people doing that now. Remember,
we're capable of that, but then again, we still all get this attraction to this other human over pheromones.
I think that I'm a pretty smart person, right? Now, my imagination allows me to create certain things, right, that I see. Some of them have been very positive, like this platform that we're on, this show. Other times I'm looking at a twerk video and I'm trying to see if I alter the angle of my phone, will it let me see something different? You know?
See right behind.
That would be a 2D screen, right? 2D, right?
Yeah, and then you're trying to make it a 3D.
I'm trying to manipulate it into 3D.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, whoever's following me, whoever's assigned to me, right? I'll say that.
No, that person in that other universe.
I bet they're like, goodness gracious, brother.
What the hell's wrong with you?
That would be terrible.
Oh, gosh.
That would be.
All you see at nighttime is me laying in my bed with this beam coming off of my phone. And I'm in there with this disgusting voice. Oh, fat old thing. God.
By yourself.
By myself.
Breathing heavy.
Breathing heavy, sweating. You know what I'm saying? 37 years old, watching these, you know what I'm saying? And you know somebody's looking at me like, this is what protects our country?
Yeah.
This is it? This the best y'all got.
It's a mess. It doesn't get any better for me.
And then when a real good video comes across, I'll roll completely over in my bed and woo and scream. I'm the only person in the house.
Yeah. That's it. Watch. Get out some of the old videos, some of the old stuff that Jane Goodall did with the chimpanzees. I mean, you just, you know.
Now, were these Is this where
the lady that lived with chimpanzees, right?
Right.
I mean,
what did she do,
folks? She lived with chimpanzees. She did the most research ever done on chimpanzees. I mean, chimpanzees we're
not far.
We're not far off. You know, we come from common ancestor.
Yeah. I saw a chimpanzee sitting with a lady at some.
The one you sent me?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, it's crazy.
The chimpanzee had on clothes. The lady sat down on the seat next to him. He knew to smile, put his arm around her. The chimpanzee was doing the poses he was trained to do for the pictures.
Right.
It beat everything. I mean,
and you remember the one where he grabs that AK?
Yes.
And he figures out how to shoot it. And he's spraying the crap.
Is this true?
This is true.
No, it's a real video.
Yeah.
I mean, he figured out how to work.
I would assume it's a real.
He needs to shoot the person. He gives a chimpanzee an AK-47.
No, he just came up and grabbed it. They were just sitting there.
Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, and like everybody's, spazzing. And then he figures it out and starts letting it go. It
was crazy. I don't know what you would do.
I literally
run, and hope he's a bad aim is all I can say.
Yeah.
They said that there was a tribe, not a tribe, but a group of, and I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but there was a group of chimpanzees that were killers.
Oh, yeah.
And they had 2 leaders of each group. And the group leaders were organizing attacks on the other, like gang fights.
That's insane.
It's insane. They were organizing.
This was over, the one I saw was over some kind of particular nut tree that was in this grove.
Right.
And this was war between 2 chimpanzee tribes. And this went on for like 5 years.
Oh, my gosh.
And finally, they were doing guerrilla attacks, everything, murdering ones who, got away from the tribe, but it was awful.
Oh, and orchestrated.
Oh, it was orchestrated. It
very
was
eerily orchestrated.
Yes, it was very. I mean, yes, they actually.
Wow. It's insane.
It's insane. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. That just shows you the lengths that people will go to over a nut.
It's all it ever comes down to is a nut. That's everything in this world.
That's it. Right, and then that PNC, post nut clarity.
Yeah, PNC.
Right after it's over, you feel
regret.
What are you doing with your life?
Yeah, why am I here?
You could have prayed before you went to bed, but instead you decided to.
You're calling yourself fat, lazy. You've done nothing.
You forgot to pay your electric bill. Like your life is spiraling right after that happens.
Everything.
Literally, nobody leaves the video of their choice on 10 more seconds after that.
It's got to go.
You literally look back at it and you're absolutely disgusted with it. Turn it off.
Oh, yeah.
And you worked for hours for finding that. You worked hours of your life finding that video.
I've got 99 pages open. I'm joking. I don't. But and then you just get rid of it. It's crazy.
Gone.
Chimpanzees, they run around the tree and run their finger up another one's butt.
Right.
Smell it. That's how they identify him. Oh, that's Joe. It smells like that.
That's April.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm like a chimp.
Essentially, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Essentially.
I'm like a chimp.
That's not good.
I do that. I do that at my front door. If I have a date, that's the first thing I do. Whop.
How you doing?
Yeah. If she's cool, come on in. Don't believe this. It's just it's
all facts.
Yeah.
This whole show's facts.
Everything. You can check it. Let's get into
this gone downhill.
It's gone downhill.
We're getting close to packing this thing up. We're rolling out.
It has gone downhill, but you know what? That's the beauty of this platform. Nowhere else are these people hearing about,
chimpanzee fingers and
infinite
assholes.
possibilities in the universe and parallel universes combined with putting your finger in somebody's rectum.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that anywhere else.
That
on
is
any
true.
other show.
That is a fact.
You're not going to get that.
You'll never find it.
You'll never find it. I challenge you to find it.
You won't find somebody tie that together.
No.
This is the baddest podcast in the land. I keep saying that. And you know what? People are really believing it because it is. So, the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, that's an older conspiracy theory.
Right. I was very interested in some of the knowledge that you had around that.
God, just being...
And you don't have to go in any type of format. You can just spill it off.
Derek, I was in the 7th grade. 7th grade.
Wow.
And our teacher walked in, and she said, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but the president's been shot.
Whoa.
And it was pretty damn unbelievable.
Right.
You know.
I couldn't imagine.
And, you know, the next announcement was he is deceased.
Right.
If you've ever been, I know you've been to Dallas a lot.
I've been at. You've
been to the spot where it took place, and
I've driven and walked,
and you see that window.
Yes.
In that library.
Yes.
And you know, down to the road, the overpass. You know,
right.
where the highway went across, and he took 3 shots.
Right.
With a bolt action
rifle.
Yes, 30-06, I believe it was.
And we are referring to. I think it's now.
That was 30-06.
We're referring to Oswald.
Right. Oswald did.
Right. Now he had prior training.
He was ex-Marine.
Ex-Marine, and
there's no such thing as ex-Marine.
He was
once a Marine, always a Marine.
Former Marine, right? He was a Marine. One of the videos that I saw, not to be graphic, I saw a slowed down video of the ballistic impact.
The reenactments.
And this was the actual video that was taken by somebody that was ground level when Kennedy was assassinated. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know what type of round he had, but that was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. Right?
Did you see his brains fly out?
It rippled.
Yeah.
It rippled. And you know, there was a thing where they said that his wife, when you see her crawling across the trunk
to the Secret Service agent.
To the Secret Service agent.
Right.
There was also something that said that the service agent in the front, they were looking at the position of his hand because they thought that he went the way of his body motion when he took the round. The way his body went forward.
He went forward and towards the center
and
then
back,
of the car.
Right?
Yeah, that was.
So they were trying to figure. They thought something had to do with it from maybe the guy in the front, we talked about this, maybe several attempts or shots. And I just wanted you to talk about that because I really didn't know the story behind that was JFK. Did not support what happened at the Bay of Pigs.
Well, the Bay of Pigs situation was planned during the Eisenhower administration. Was when the plans started being done for that.
Okay.
The Bay of Pigs, to make it plain sure, was CIA agents along with sympathizers of the Free Cuba were going to invade Cuba with the U.S. assistance, U.S. military assistance, and overthrow Castro. Fidel, right. Okay, well, Fidel found out about this.
It leaked.
Anyway, he rounded up all the sympathizers on Cuba, and God knows what happens to all them. But you know, this was after Kennedy came in office, and he canceled it.
Right.
CIA was very anti-Kennedy at the time. Of course, you got to remember that Eisenhower was a Republican administration, Kennedy was a Democratic administration.
Right.
Kennedy was a young man. There was just a lot of heart. But, you know, there was always conspiracy theories that the CIA had him killed because strange things did happen. Oswald was a communist sympathizer. He had contacts with Moscow. But, you know, who knows? And then he gets walked through the damn police station on Sunday after that and gets shot by this guy that supposedly was just nobody, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
How'd all that happen?
How'd all that
What's the
happen?
odds of that?
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of strange things went on, and all kinds of conspiracy theories came about from that. So,
Right. I thought it was right there in line. I did some research, and I thought it was right there in line with some of the stuff that they were speaking about that I've researched with the Malcolm X assassination.
that's another one. Yeah.
Because the building where he was going to deliver that speech, they had, rented out a room right next to it. All this, the police and all these people, and they were doing something in this room, demoing it. And, a week before the delivery, the speech was even given. The autopsy reports say that the ballistics that entered Malcolm X's body they came from above, which explains why they needed that room to shoot down, because the guys that were supposedly to take the fall for his assassination, those guys, it was determined they didn't even trust them enough to carry it out. Those guys had blanks in their guns. They thought that they had real ammunition and things like that. But from the, autopsy and things that were figured out, that those rounds came from an elevated position, because at around this time, Malcolm X went from a very prolific, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Stern type of leader that would scare, America at that time,
Right.
To wanting to be a little bit more understanding and starting to take some of the followings, like with Martin and things like that. And he was taught, and they were like,
Yeah, he was. You don't know what he was a genius, by the way.
Genius.
Yeah, he was a genius. Malcolm X was a genius.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I started doing some of the research and stuff on this, a lot, and not to get into it too much, but a lot of the times when you see a prominent black figure like that can invoke change, either positive or negative, the outcomes are not usually that good.
No.
Right.
No. People are scared. People are scared of change.
Change, and that's all it is. It's change, and it's not a very good understanding. Yeah. But you look at those situations, and we see the surface level stuff, but we'll never understand what really, was.
Lincoln discussed having the slaves revolt.
Right.
Before it ever had the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right. Right.
Some said it wasn't a good idea.
Right. Right. I got a messed up joke, and I was gonna say it, but I'm not. I ain't working for nobody. Okay, I wouldn't. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't have made it a day.
Not one.
Not one.
Nope.
First person to hit me, I'm whipping everybody's head. I don't care. It's just not. It's just I don't know. But I can't. That's not funny. I'm not making a joke about. I'm not making a joke about things that have happened in history.
That comes back to that fear.
That fear, yes.
Control.
Yes.
And fear.
Fear, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how you control.
Yeah.
Can I bring up some on this assassination stuff?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
this particular one.
Hey, you the man.
A lot
here.
took place at that time.
Well, why is it that everybody now, like more modern stuff, everybody that has like a significant thing they're doing or a power, they all die of a heart attack? It's just a lineup of heart attacks.
I didn't think about that before.
It's them damn burgers that you eat.
Yeah. But Billy over here has been eating McDonald's for 35 years. He's all good. But the guy that has this knowledge on this world changing thing,
or water powered cars,
their heart attack deaths.
Right.
Everybody dies of a heart attack that has power,
and they're gone.
Is that not the craziest
they're
thing?
just hydrogen powered cars. You make hydrogen out of water.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just electrolysis, and you separate hydrogen and oxygen.
There you go.
There you
So
go.
Water can power cars.
And we saw what happened to that guy that was trying to develop that.
Yeah, he had this full plan out. Yeah.
And
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Speaking of interesting stuff, the Mayan civilization?
Oh yeah, I've been kind of checking up on that
You've been
lately.
checking up on that?
I did not realize that. They've just realized that their civilization goes back a lot further than we thought, and they were highly, highly advanced, even though they didn't have technically a writing system except hieroglyphics.
Right.
But they had, they had these settlements and they had paved roads in the damn jungle.
Yeah.
An advanced civilization. They had markets. They had, of course, the worship centers where the ruler lived. And a very highly advanced middle class, a large middle class, which is thought to be representative of advanced civilization.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it is kind of strange that you have a period of time that's kind of like a primitive state, but they were able to develop these.
Right. And then basically, what wiped them, what destroyed that was climate change,
Right. It took them all up. Now,
well, they left, just.
And that's why they say some of those Mayans and people are tracing their lineages back.
Right. That's culture's coming back in Central America and stuff now. They're wanting to get back to us because they are Mayans descendants,
Right. Weston, where'd you say that pyramid was? They said Weston was saying they found a pyramid in New Mexico. Mexico. Oh, in Mexico.
That was a lot of Mexico.
Right.
Central America.
That was supposoly however times larger.
Right. Buried in the jungle.
Yes.
And they use those, LiDAR, that stuff that y'all used in the war over there to find that stuff. It's amazing through the trees.
That's
insane.
I would not want to go in, right? Because I feel like you're just doomed if you do, right? Booby trap, curse, something's waiting on you, right? It's inevitable. I would not want to go in.
It's a big rock rolled out there.
Do you think these traps still function at this point?
Yes. I'm gonna tell you what. You walk into this chamber, you step. It's a pressure plate. In behind you, where you could have escaped, now slides a 10,000-pound rock. Your choice is to continue to go forward, right? Because you're not getting out. That's what would scare me.
And then they got snakes.
Oh.
I hate snakes.
Yes,
boy,
snakes.
I'm telling you right now, if I literally dropped in a snake pit, I would snap my own neck. I would. Weston's looking at me crazy. I'm telling you right now, I know what I would do. There's no way I'm going through that.
You wouldn't just... you get one bite in you probably did.
No, it's going to be a slow, agonizing death as the venom hits your bloodstream and turns it into jelly.
Well, I don't think it's that slow. I think you die pretty quick.
And then all the other ones are biting you too.
Depends on what kind of snake.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's what kind of snake it is.
Yeah.
Well,
if it's a crater or something, you
right.
Goodbye.
Right there.
Yeah. You've seen your last McDonald's.
No more McDoubles, President.
Yeah, that's a no-go.
Yeah.
We can't be doing all that.
Can't be doing all that.
Snake pits.
I told you about me have to take a M16 away from my buddy in Vietnam, did I?
No.
Going to the hooch.
Tell me that.
It's infested with rats, of course. Rats are, but the damn green viper. And they fluorescent. They glow lime green color.
Wow. And this is in Vietnam.
This got in a hooch. Yeah, he was in a hooch, and the guy was gonna blast it. I said, "No, you can't shoot." He was gonna have nothing left.
Yeah, he was
gonna empty the clip on it.
Right. He was going inside the hooch too.
Inside the hooch.
Can you imagine how many people would have ran over there? Him dumping these rounds inside of y'all's room, like I couldn't imagine.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all have a lot of people that had some negative encounters with wildlife in Vietnam?
Well, I know you had to be careful about the monkeys throwing rocks and poop and everything.
Right. And they were right. They some people taught them how to lift things too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's incredible.
I watch them in the trees, but it's keep a damn distance away from them.
Right.
They're wild animals.
Right. What did you guys have anything that was in place when you were in Vietnam? Let's say you did come into contact with a very venomous snake. You know, was there a SOP in place to get them help or get them?
Not luckily. That's my one encounter with the snake.
Okay, you didn't have any more
in Vietnam. Yes, yeah.
Gotcha. But I bet they were all over the place.
Oh yeah. Well, I told you when we went to Thailand,
right?
At NKP, they had the path that went across the middle of the base was a swamp.
Ooh.
Thailand has more poisonous snakes than any country on the planet. There was a swamp went through the middle of the base. Well, you could walk it. You could walk up. They had built a walkway through the damn thing. During the day, you could walk through there, take a shortcut.
Right.
You know, but there was big signs at both ends. Do not use this at night. You know,
because it's gonna get you.
Yeah, there's gonna be something laying on that walkway that's gonna take you out of here.
Good God.
What was one of your fondest memories of Vietnam?
Well, I can't say it on the air.
Well, right. You know, but maybe maybe something that
well, the penicillin shots were not my favorite.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Folks, there's 13 normal doses in that vial. I can tell you, I have read that damn thing.
They call that the peanut butter shot. and listen, everybody's going to be, listen, don't act like you ain't had to go get it. Everybody's going to be trying to act brand new. You know what I'm saying?
They are.
Take 72 hours, drink some water, and you can get back out there and go to Tots.
Right to Tots.
Right to Tots. You'll be right back in the mix. Now, that morning you said...
You know, worst thing, couldn't drink beer, liquor. None of that because, antibiotics, it kills it.
Right.
Yeah. That's the hardest damn part, dude.
Laying off the beer for 72 hours. You know, that's hard. It's like getting off the hub for 72 hours.
Can't do that.
No. That's
I told you about Nakhon Phanom, didn't I, in Thailand?
No.
About the streets. The street. I told you about the street. They had a specific street. All along that street was these little bars and hooches and stuff.
Oh, you did tell me that.
Yeah.
For the GIs.
Yeah, it was about 7 miles to the town from base. And we rode these damn pre-World War II Mercedes buses. They had wooden floors with holes in them and stuff. They're built in the 1930s, you know?
Yeah.
And you paid a dime. You could ride that 7 miles into the NKP, into the town. Yeah.
That's nuts.
And walk the street.
And walk the streets. What's that song?
What's the street?
Streets of Bakersfield.
For a few dollars, you could spend the night with hospitality.
Right. For a few dollars.
Very few dollars.
Very few dollars.
That's crazy.
There's no way.
Thai women are gorgeous. I mean, there's just no
doubt about it.
You know,
right?
That's gorgeous.
Preston wouldn't have survived.
Oh no,
he would have been broke, drunk.
I would have been definitely broke and drunk.
He would have. He would have had a. He would have had a daily supply of penicillin.
Oh, and that Thai whiskey you drink down there in them damn bars. You talk about sick. Because it had all that formaldehyde in it. The next day, you don't know what a hangover is until you've had that stuff. I mean, it just pounds you.
Right. Now, I will say this, and not trying to be funny, Preston can withstand a few trash cans. I've watched him drink them. How do you think that you would fare up against this typhoon whiskey?
How... We're going to have to get, we're
going to have to figure out a way to try it.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd definitely be down there.
I don't know what it was aged. It probably was aged 2 or 3 days. I don't know.
I watched not Weston. I watched Preston take down 4 trash cans, and you can explain what's all in that, right?
I can't.
He took down 4 trash cans, and he was literally over there drawing blueprints to a house.
I will stop.
Right after drinking 4 trash. There's no one else possible that can do that.
It helps me think better.
It helps you think better. Yeah.
You got to have a little bit in you.
Yeah. Now, I think the Red Bull on top of the drink is what helps you keep going.
That's what kills me.
Yeah.
That's what kills
the Red Bull.
See, Red Bull. If I go to, Bull and Bones.
Yeah.
They got those big ones, like the big beer mugs.
Yeah.
And I think I had 5 that one night, and then that's 5 Red Bulls in 3 hours.
Oh God,
Dude, that'll tear you up,
ladies and gentlemen.
folks, there might be a cure for infinity.
Yeah.
He might
5
concede.
Red Bulls. Hey, this just in on Steak and Sauce News.
5 Red Bulls.
We figured out how to reach infinity. It's 5 Red Bulls. So, what are we looking like on time? Hour 10. Okay, we're right. I want to ask one more thing.
Okay.
We all have our theories on. I've been doing all this crazy research on the Great Pyramids, right?
Right.
And how they were constructed and why, and the where the King's Chamber was centered perfectly to align to the North Star, and then all this stuff, and
North, south, east, west.
yes,
the
and how-
sides were
and
perfect.
How they got the block. Once those blocks were set in place, one time there was no moving it, but everything was set perfectly, And there was a theory that if we could somehow unearth the sand from around these pyramids, it was almost like an iceberg effect where what we're actually looking at is the apex, the tip. And for hundreds of feet up under there is the actual
Pyramid.
that has been built up to that point.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard that theory, but
Right. What do you have your own, or do you have something that you?
they were just damn smart people. They didn't have QAnon in the back of their truck.
They didn't have that symbol on the back of their truck.
I mean, it's amazing that they could get this square, but they knew a lot of mathematics, basic mathematics, enough to square those things up.
Square them up, and they had those giants.
The Giants, yeah.
They had the Nephilim, right?
Well, yeah.
And they
If
talked
you
about,
say so.
and they talked about them Nephilim were using their shafts. And when you say the word shaft to me,
I get a different picture.
I get a different picture. I get a much different picture. And I ain't never seen a giant shaft, but I'm pretty sure it can move some blocks.
I would say it could.
Little crane.
Little crane. And they hoisted them in.
John Shaft.
John Shaft. And then when just like a bull, when a bull breaks its penis, it ain't good no more.
Yeah.
It's steak.
Shoot it.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Shoot it. Them giants were the same way.
They couldn't
When they
couldn't put a giant
when they
down.
could not put anything else on their shaft, they were disposed of. That's
you
my
go.
theory for the pyramids.
That's
Steak and Sauce family, y'all tap in and tell me what you think. Were the giants like these Angus bulls?
They work them.
Outwork them. Them bulls are so heavy and top heavy, they get so excited to get in there, they topple over and crack.
That's pretty crazy. If they really can, they
break-
do that. Yeah.
Bulls break their members.
That's insane.
And the only thing they're good for after that is meat.
Do you know the 2 little bulls standing on the hill?
Okay.
2 little young bulls, looking down at the fields of cows, and say, "Oh man, let's run down there and knock us off one."
Knock us off.
The other bull was a little bit older and a little bit wiser. He said, "Let's walk down there and do them all."
Yes. Let's walk and get them all. I'm going to start saying that. We ain't got to run nowhere. We'll walk to them and get them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have come in a room or two one time, been so nervous that I might have been shuffling and tripped. I mean, because when you see it lined up, you already.
It's on display.
It's on display.
You see the heat rolling off. You see the heat waves like pavement.
I seen the heat rolling off of it. I'm trying to, that's a 10 out of 10.
What do you do?
I guess just walk down.
Walk down.
And hit them all.
Got to.
Also, the 2 bulls standing on a hill.
Yep.
Off in the distance, here come a big Dodge Ram truck pulling a cattle trailer coming up the driveway. And he stopped. The guy walked back, opened the door, and his biggest baddest bull you ever seen in your life stepped out of the back of that trailer. And the little bulls looked shocked, right? Didn't know what to say.
Right.
One of the little bulls, he just starts throwing a fit, jumping up and down and raising, kicking and snorting. And the other bull says, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? He'll kill you." "I don't care about that. I just want him to know I'm a bull."
That's hilarious because he didn't want him.
Didn't want that in him.
Hey, I'm telling you, he saw that bull walk off the back of that trailer and was probably dragging.
Yeah. Good God.
Good gravy. You don't want him to mount you. He said, "I just want him to know I'm a bull."
It takes one fall, and you ain't getting out.
Tell him what you said about me.
No, I'm not.
Just go ahead. We're on this Steak and Sauce Pod. Go ahead and tell him.
How do you want me to tell him?
Just tell
like
him
the
how you told me.
story?
No, just that
you don't
part.
want everybody to know the real part.
No, just that part.
That's all it would take. Is if you were in a room with Derek.
Yes. If you're in a hotel room with me.
Yeah.
To get out.
To get out of that room. Around me.
Around him. If you fell one time, you'll never get him off of you. That's all it takes is one fall.
One fall. He said done. If you fall.
You better stay up the whole time.
Yes, you better stay on your feet. I promise you, I should probably be training somewhere. If you allow me to get you to the ground, you'll never get on your feet again.
Never get him off.
Yeah. Never. And he was afraid of that, you know?
He was definitely afraid of that.
I was intimidated.
A little bit.
A little intimidated.
Hilarious.
Just knew my feet had to be good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can stay here for the rest of the night. I've had an amazing time. Dad, thank you. We got to have you back.
Thank you guys.
We got so much more things to go through and information. This has been hilarious. This is the baddest podcast in the land. I hope that you watch this with a notepad and write some of this stuff down because you're going to learn something, all right? Continue to support us. Continue to hit that subscribe button. Continue to like, share, comment, everything that we're doing. We got some big announcements. We're still working on a few. We got some things that you guys are really, really going to like that we're doing that are going to be brand new. All right, this show is going to continue to evolve. We're going to continue to be creative. We thank God for allowing us to be here and using our talents and be creative. We want to continue to inspire people to think outside the box, have fun, and create something that's going to last a lifetime, because that's exactly what we're doing right now, and we're doing it with the best people that we can do it with, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Continue to also reach out to us if you want to see certain topics on the show. Mm-hmm. If you know somebody that would like to come on the show and be a guest, reach out to us. When you see Gary out at Walmart and at the gas station, please, ladies, don't run up to him at once. Give him a little bit of space, right? he's a celebrity, okay?
Just write it down on a piece of paper.
Write it on a piece of paper.
Get back to you in 5 business days.
We'll get back to you. But this has been episode 30. Am I correct? We're at 30.
30's crazy.
30.
We are at episode 30. That is a blessing. Let's give it up for that.
Yeah. All right.
Right. I want to take 1 minute and kind of talk about that. We are soon approaching our 1 year anniversary of this show. Right? That is amazing. That is a blessing. We sat here with Sergio Renner, shout out to Sergio Renner, and I shot episode 1 of Steak and Sauce Podcast, and I did not know at that time. I felt great by accomplishing 1 episode, but I did not know what the rest of this was going to look like. Now we're at episode 30. So we have evolved, we've made changes, we've learned, we've failed in certain areas, and we have advance in cerertain areas, and we're going to continue to do that, and we cannot do it without you guys. So from our hearts, we 100% appreciate you. I appreciate you, Gary. I appreciate Preston. I appreciate Weston, because I could not do it without you guys. So thank you. Absolutely 100%. Until the next show, y'all be blessed, and we're out.